What up, SNA Assassinated? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another podcast video. This is the Halloween Havoc review video for October 27, 2024. And we're going to talk about what exactly went down there. And let me tell you what an awesome pay-per-view that it was. And before I begin, I know y'all going to know it's but Super Ninja Austin, how you're going to review this video when you promised us you're going to be wearing purple and that's orange that you're wearing. And I decided to wear this because the colors on the logo of Halloween Havoc was primarily orange, which that's the same color as the jack-o'-lanterns in Halloween, in the theme, even though they has a mix with purple as well. But I thought I might do something that matches the logo. So I thought I might pick the orange, which it used to been mostly purple, but maybe if they ever go back to that, I'll promise I'll do purple. But for now, I got this to wear. I thought this would have been better. But some of y'all probably looking at it now for me explaining that, you probably think the same thing. And next up, we got this was a very interesting and entertaining Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, with even having some segments, which that's very rare in premium live events, with them announcing a couple of very intriguing matches that definitely want me to watch this coming Tuesday. Hopefully I'll have the chance to. But and we also have some very finally have a proper full segment debut of a new coming NXT wrestler, which this particular setting their sights onto both a certain mid card and a world championship. But we're going to be getting into that in just a moment. And also we got, and then a couple of matches, I believe 2 matches that I predicted were wrong, and the opposite wrestler ended up winning. Well, the other half, the other 3 out of 5 matches that I predicted were right. And that also includes the main event match as well. And also we got and I also got a surprising return of one WWE legend, but it was probably just a one-off of a brawl. Unless we're gonna probably see them in a match against one of the top heels that competed on tonight's NXT. But we're gonna get into the pay-per-view without any further delays. We got Tony D'Angelo taking on Obafemi in this tables, ladders, and scares match, and it was exactly how we expected it to be. It was it's kind of like a tables, ladders, and chairs match, but a normal one, but with it was with everything decorated for the holiday, but the chairs were the only thing that was not decorated. And they're probably not trying to make it cartoonish or childish or whatnot. With all the bobbing for apples, the jack-o'-lanterns, only just for on the side decorations rather than being weapons, decoration weapons. But this was for the North American Championship, and it was how I predicted it, with him with Tony D'Angelo getting justice for his D'Angelo family brother Luca Crucifino, when Obafemi hit that pop-up powerbomb to him right through the wedge ladder. But before I get into those kind of details, is where we got Obafemi was in the offense side at first, and that's where he didn't try to think that he could do exactly what he did to Luca this past Tuesday on the Go Home show. It's with him wedging up the ladder after throwing the sign and stuff, and the headsets and the little monitors on the announce table, is where then he tried to throw Obafemi. Obafemi tried to throw Tony D'Angelo back in the ring. This is where he tried to grab a steel chair, but he gets clobbered right onto the back in the outside. But this is where once Tony D'Angelo tried to grab him through the middle rope, which is probably a big mistake. Even if he tried to throw him right back in the ring, by going out there himself, his plan still would be backfired. That's where he gets hit right into the back of to Tony D'Angelo with a steel chair. This is where Tony D'Angelo gets Uranagi or choke slammed actually right through a steel chair by the ruler of NXT, or the Nigerian ruler of NXT, if I may phrase that. This is where we got This where we got Obafemi then grab a ladder from the outside. He wedged it right into the upper right side, laying it right there, like in case if he wants to hit one of his maneuvers and slamming the Don of NXT right through it. That's where he started whacking the Don right in the back with the steel chair that he used to get him right off of him when he tried to throw him right back. When D'Angelo tried to throw Oba back in the ring, this is where he started hitting him right into the top part, like by slamming it right onto the ribs of the Don. This is where then. This is where fans are chanting NXT, and they must have found some kind of enjoyment watching this match, and I sure definitely did. And this is why I'm gonna definitely give this match the tie-in second place silver trophy of the night, and I'll say at least 4 out of 5 matches were on their game. Like just saying, but we're gonna continue by saying Obafemi was getting whacked right into the face, right onto the ladder. This is where then he put him down right to the bottom turnbuckle on the upper right side. This is where he then wedged the ladder halfway right to the upper right side. We don't want that trashy ladder. Like we want tables, and this is where they started chanting repeatedly. When Obafemi like, "Oh, that's too bad. You better be grateful that you even have such a very brutal weapon in this match." And then this is where fans but it's also a tables, ladders, and scares. That also tables occur in this match, like not only ladders and chairs, it's called the TLS for a reason. But that's where we got Obafemi was like. Oh, yeah. That's where then Oba then grab onto another weapon underneath the ring. This is where he had to open the whole banner to get out. This is where he finally gave the fans what they want. This is where the fans barely cheered for it. And this is where it's now you hardly praise me for when I finally give you something what y'all want. And this is where they're like, we rather want Tony D'Angelo to do it. This is where you're like, why are you a little ungrateful? All right, never mind. I'm gonna give myself what I want, and that's Snake Eyes and Tony D'Angelo right onto Tabitha the table. But this is where this is where we got what's his name? This is where we got Tony D'Angelo flip right out. This is where he's starting some right hands onto the face, onto to Tony D'Angelo. This is where he tries to spear him right through Tabitha, but this is where Obafemi leap dodges right out of the way, something that we never thought we'd see from the ruler. This is where he hits a running uppercut right into the face of Tony D'Angelo. He crashes right through the table with Vic Joseph and both Booker T was like, oh my God, right through the table. This is where fans start chanting "Holy Sugar" in the iced tea. This is where we heard the fans start. When they start saying that, they were not censoring it out because they were on Peacock, and they're not neither USA or the CW. They're just gonna allow to say it as long as they want. This is where we got Obafemi try to go for a cover. This is where Tony D'Angelo get the shoulder up at 2.2. This is where Obafemi's like, "Oh, sugar, honey, iced tea." How did he kick out of that? When he just got hit brutally and terribly right through the top of the table. And this was maybe it wasn't very brutal enough. This is where Tony D'Angelo rolled right into the corner side. This is where Obafemi was what should I what you have here when he was instructed to grab onto a crowbar that Tony D'Angelo stashed right into the corner side and the bottom right side. I'm not sure who pointed it out. Maybe it's the mystery girl that attacked Adriana Rizzo, which I have my suspicions on who could it possibly be, which most of y'all probably would agree. But anyways, where we got Obafemi waxed the crowbar right towards Tony D'Angelo's way, but this is where Tony D'Angelo shielded himself. But this is where he felt the impact, even though he got hit physically. This is where we got what's the name? Tony D'Angelo tried to whack on the steel chair when Obafemi was unsuccessful. But once Obafemi ducks, he boots Tony right into the face. This is where he start bashing Tony D'Angelo right in the back with the crowbar. That's where Obafemi did turn this attack into a crossface lock. This is where Obafemi was demanding him to surrender and submit, but this is where Tony D'Angelo's like, never, like, not in a trillion years, like on my dead body, like whenever that may be. But this is where we got Tony D'Angelo. Then, but this is where he manages to grab on the ropes on the right side. But this is where Obafemi was very ticked off about. He just started repeatedly stomping onto Tony D'Angelo, started trying to choke him around his neck, like right to the face, like and then this is where he also went for a sleeper hold. This is where we got this is where Obafemi started going for a crossface. This is where he got. This is where he did try to go for a crossface, try to grab on the crowbar and start using it in the side of Tony D'Angelo's face. This is where then he goes for a sleeper with this maneuver. This is where we got Obafemi, then got pushed right back into the bottom right side. This is where Obafemi then go for a clothesline out of nowhere from behind. This is where we got Obafemi then picks up Tony D'Angelo. This is where then we got That's where we got Tony D'Angelo picks up Obafemi instead. This is where we got Tony D'Angelo goes for a body drop, like boom, and knocked him right straight down to the back first. This is where we got Tony D'Angelo then start crawling. This is where the referee was like, all right, guys, like you'll have about a count 10 seconds. This is where he started saying it, like, or else they will both be counted out if neither man does get up like before the count of 10. This is where we got with Chandler the chair. This is where we got what's his name? Tony D'Angelo was like, okay, like I got something else. What I got, you're going to hit him with the spine buster, which I believe that's either a signature or finisher. But this is where Obafemi kicks out of it like a 2.8. Like as soon as Tony D'Angelo tried to go for a pin. But this is where Tony D'Angelo was like, that worked the last time, but I guess not this time. Is where I got to think bigger bigger and outside the box. This is where then he did so. When he grabbed on the table, this is where the fans start cheering, like I believe like maybe 2 times more than what they were cheering when Obafemi brought the original table in there. This is where the Tony D'Angelo's like, all right, like I just need to set this up and then throw Oba right through it. Like if it was the option like to do like on showcase mode or even what they call or my career mode on WWE 2K. That's where he then placed the unfolded table like that was set up right to the bottom left side. This is where then. But that's where we got Tony D'Angelo trying to go for like some kind of I don't know, spine buster or like a powerbomb maneuver, but this is where Obafemi intercepted him, hits this his own version of like a F10, like spinning him around, even though it was not too effective like it was when he did it to Wesley, but it's still a very I'll say direct. It did kind of look directly painful, like even for being like a botched safe version of the F10 that what he did to Wesley like about a few months ago. But it didn't seem so safe when it came to the injury part. Well, I'm not saying that like that what's his name was playing stiff like Obafemi, like that's the last thing that the ruler was doing. But this is where we got. This is where we got Obafemi got a zip tie, like it's where he's. This is where then he tied him up. This is where he tried to take a page out of his own playbook from this past Tuesday on the Go Home show. But you know the rules in professional wrestling. Like when you already do something, it's not going to be lightning strike twice unless you're double lucky with the double whammy card. But unfortunately for Obafemi, there was no double whammy card around. This is where he thought he was lucky and blessed without it, which. I wouldn't get too high on. This is where we got Luca Cristofino and what's his name? Chenny Stacks Renzo came in trying to help out their brother Tony D'Angelo, but this is where they got thrown right into the apron and onto the barricade. This is where then once he got done taking care of them, this is where then we got Obafemi was about to take care of Tony D'Angelo, but this is where Adriana Rizzo tried to help out her D'Angelo family brother out by taking off the zip locks off of him. But this is where Obafemi kind of shook her off like with him trying to intimidate and try to scare her, which she didn't really look that intimidated. This is where Oba Femi like, oh, you think you're really gonna let your brother escape like that, huh? Like now on the ruler's eyes, like never, like not now, not ever. This is where then he didn't have back. It is where turn around. This is where make sure Tony D'Angelo's not gonna come from. This is where then it was like he was about to attack Adriana Rizzo. This is where Tony D'Angelo's like, oh, you bet not, you wouldn't dare. Like, this is where he starts screaming, like, get away, or you will be sorry. This is where Oba Femi, like, oh yeah, like, sorry for what? Like, I already took care of your brother. Like, and if your little sister doesn't get out of the ring less than, I'll say 30 seconds, like, and then she's gonna end up just like y'all's brothers. And then this is where Oba Femi did. Like, yeah, like, I'm giving you for the last time. This is where Adriana Rizzo was not like what's the name? Adriana Rizzo was not going to leave in his terms. Like with her continuing to distract the ruler enough for Tony D'Angelo to get himself free, which he did. He got out of the zip tie somehow. I don't know how he did. Like, I'm not sure if he found some kind of a small pointy object that was like a key or whatever, like a hairpin, which I'm not sure if he keeps hairpins on him. Like, but this is where he got out free. I was completely shocked, like, when he did this, like, and this is where he speared Oba Femi right into the ladder, right onto the right side, like, just speared him right through it. I guess he got his justice and revenge onto Oba Femi for doing that to his brother. This is where that's where we got Tony D'Angelo about to win with a running maneuver, which I remember, like, and try to realize, like, does he have a running finisher? But he didn't even notice. And this is where he finally got into realization, but it was too late when Oba Femi clotheslined him once he was heading to the ruler's way. This is where Oba Femi, and this is where that's why he hits a pop-up powerbomb, which I believe it was a big mistake that he did it right just in the ring and not through the table. But this is where this is where Oba Femi got a 1, and this is where he got a 2. But this is where we got Tony D'Angelo got the right shoulder up at 2.8, I believe. Yeah. But this is where we got Oba Femi, I believe, trying to go for. And this is where we got Oba Femi trying to throw him right to the table, which he waited until the last minute, which that was probably not the most wise and smartest maneuver from the former North American champion. But this is where he got ambushed and double teamed by Tony D'Angelo's brothers, Luca Cruzifino and Channing Stacks Lorenzo, with them doing a pretty cool shatter machine that probably made FTR jealous. And the way they did with Luca Cruzifino going for a flapjack while Channing Stacks Lorenzo got a steel chair and code-breaker Oba Femi's face right through it. And this is where that's where we got Tony D'Angelo. It's a pop-up spine buster onto Oba Femi to secure the victory, get the 1-2-3 winner of this match, and still the North American champion, Tony D'Angelo in NXT. And what are your thoughts on Tony D'Angelo retaining right here? Do you think this was the right decision? I sure think it was. And it was like how I predicted it, like with him getting some justice and revenge onto him, like to the dawn of NXT. Like, let's but yeah, let me know down in the comment section right down below. And who's like with Oba Femi, Oba Femi moving on from the possibly for the North American Championship and probably going after for a higher championship in the future, which I wouldn't hurry up and put him into that path like of excuse me, like, but yeah. Hopefully, like, both men will have the best run, and even though like we won't be seeing Oba Femi going after for the NXT Championship, but it's a possibility he could. You just need to get back from point A to go back to point B. But But yeah, but let's just say like there's nothing finished like between Adriana Rizzo and her mystery attacker, which I already speculated and had a suspicion on who could it possibly be, which we all know like who it may be, considering on who Obafemi ran into. Like that that was had like a long 10 or 11 month absence in the ring, but yeah. Let's move on to Roxanne Perez taking on Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade taking on Stephanie McCurr and Julia, which this match was so awesome as well. This is also getting the Silver Trophy Award of the night of the on the SNA podcast. This is where we got the match starting off with the I believe the Dark Angel and I say and the Mean Girl, I guess you could say. Which is where then Cora Jade was like, so we finally meet Stephanie, and I'm gonna do exactly what my idol did to you about four months ago. And I was like, gee, I wonder who this particular idol is. But this is where they start their grappling war. This is where the Stephanie McCurr was like, will you please stop chatting and start blatting? And this is where then Cora Jade's like, okay, whatever that means. Like I'm like right now, this is where it starts the hand war. This is where we got Stephanie McCurr start stepping on her left hand. Is where then she start grabbing onto the right hand, start spinning, twisting it around. Is where she start going forward and back right onto Cora Jade. Is where Cora Jade starts spinning around. Then go. And then start bending her arms like forward and back until she gets until Stephanie McCurr counted out and started twisting her arms, sending Cora right into the upper left side, tagging in her friend of me, I guess you could say, to Cora Jade. Like, okay, and now I'm gonna do exactly like the champion over at the other company did to you when you try to beat her for her championship by putting your own championship on the line. That's based from Tokyo. This is where then we got Roxanne Perez and Stephanie McCurr. Then eventually did go for a grappling war. This is where we got Roxanne Perez won the battle, like with her putting her right to the bottom corner side. Like, of course she would, because she is the heel, and this is where the referee had to stop her, which that's probably the only way she would go over it. This is where she was like, "You can never beat me, and like you can beat my me and Cora's idol." Like, and it's where Stephanie McCurr's like, "Of course I can beat you." Like, yeah, I may have messed up like from the last 2 times from the last year, trying to defeat your inspiration. This is where then. That's where she tried to go for like a waist lock and then a headlock. But that's where Roxanne Perez tried to keep countering it. But once she counters on one hold, this is where we got Stephanie did another one. She gets arm dragged right into the bottom left side. This is where we got Roxanne Perez trips over Stephanie McCurr. This is where then she goes for a pin, but this is where Stephanie kicked out of. This is where we got Roxanne Perez then going for a wrist lock. This is where then. And where we got Stephanie McCurr to try to go for a wheelbarrow roll-up, but it's where once she tried to go for a pin, Roxanne Perez kicks out of it. This is where we got Roxanne Perez trying to go for a crucifix roll-up, but this is where Stephanie McCurr go for a pin. It was about a pin from two Latinas in the ring. This is where we got Roxanne Perez try to go for like a rolling flip into a wheelbarrow with her hands standing right backwards until we got Stephanie McCurr counter out. This is where she got her into a triangle submission hold. This is where she spun around. She spun around leapfrog while Julia, the stereo fan, just like yours truly and everybody else like in the wrestling business, was a huge fan of the Master of the 619. And this is where we got That's where we got Julia that hits a drop kick right into the face, right after Stephanie kick hit that the 619 inspired kick. This is where we got Cora J try to go for a clothesline, even though she was not the legal woman. But it's where Julia ducks, and this is where then she end up super kicked by the Chilean Dark Angel. This is where we got them. This is where they grab each other's hand to go for an elbow drop, like if they're like a female version of the Outrunners. This is where we got Julia did try to go for a move right onto Roxanne. She did not know what move she was going to hit her in particular, which I think that was a big blunder, like what Julia mistakenly did. And this is where like we got Roxanne counter out of it. This is where she hit the strike. She got to go for the round kick, but luckily we got not Stephanie, Julia counters and try to go for a wheelbarrow slam. But this is where we got Roxanne Perez then to go. Yes, where she Roxanne Perez counters and flip right over and turn it into a crossface. And then I was like, gee, I wonder where she's trying to run. I wonder where she learned that from. Like I always been saying, even before Julia and Stephanie Vaquer made their NXT respective debuts. But this is where we got what's his name? It was I think it was Julia go for a crossface in of her own, while Stephanie Vaquer did the same to Cora J, which I believe they were kind of mocking them, like considering like who they're a fan of. But that's a different video for a different day. But this is where we got that's where we got But that's where we got both women that got onto the ropes, even though Roxanne needed to do it because she was the actual legal woman. But this is where both women rolled out of the ring. This is where Julia and Stephanie were like, okay, fine with us. This is where Julia was like, all right, like, which one of you women that's the legal one? Like, come here. Like y'all not backing down from this match, are you? This is where Roxanne Perez try to keep her true feelings, like about how she felt like about this match. Like she think about quitting. This where she had her honesty and said like, no, like I still want to fight you. This is where we got her trying to attack Julia, but this is where Julia dodges. It's a strike right on to Roxanne. This is where she try Irish whip the Prodigy right to the bottom left side. But it's where like she gets countered. This is where she try to go for like punches or leg strikes right into the face onto the current NXT Women's Championship. This is where we got Julia go for a crossbody. That was a middle drop kick actually right onto Perez. This is where we got the beautiful madness. Then go for a pin right onto Perez, but this is where she only got a 2 even count onto the Prodigy. This is where we got. This is where we got Julia then try to go for a suplex right onto Roxanne, but this is where Roxanne countered. She tried to go for right hand, but she gets super kick right in the midsection. Julia then Irish whipped Roxanne right to the right side, but this is where Roxanne count. This is where then she count through her instead. This is where she runs right through it. This is where we got Cora J trying to grab onto the leg of Julia. This is where it distracted Julia. This is where it's like, it wasn't the big idea, like, why are you grabbing onto my leg? This is where it was all just the diversion because she gets attacked from behind by Roxanne Perez. This is where the Roxanne Perez started whacking her with the right hand. This is where we got Stephanie Vaquer was very ticked off about. This is where she tried to run up to Roxanne, but this is where the referee stopped her because she wasn't the legal woman. This is where Cora Jade saw the referee was busy with the Dark Angel, and she decided to start beating up Julia like in the ring, like just hit some right hands with the fans, start booing both of them because they are major squid heads, if that's the best term to use. This is where we got Roxanne Perez, then Irish whip Julia right to the right side, which is an elbow strike right into the face of Julia. This is where we got her tagging Cora J with Cora kneeing her right into the face. This is where we got her laying her back first right onto the right side, right onto the rope. This is where we got Roxanne's middle drop kick, while Cora J go for the pin because she is the legal one. This is where she only got, however, a 2.3 count. This is where we got. This is where we got Roxanne. No, it was Julia. It was Cora J that the Irish whipped Julia right from the right side to the left side, knee her right into the midsection. This is where it did store to the right. It did the forearm strike. This is where it did throws her right into the right back in the right side while her running to the left. This is where she goes for a running elbow with Julia's face first running to the rope. This is where she tried to go for a pin. After hitting this, there's like a hot shot elbow strike right to the back of the head of Julia. This is where she tried to go for a headlock. This is where she tried to put her to sleep. But this is where we got Julia start elbow striking her right into the midsection. This is where we got Cora J tagged in Roxanne ET. But this is where we got got the opposite of a bad flash. I got. With Julia at October 1st, where she hits a right strike right into the face onto it was Roxanne that she was going for playing wrestling tennis with. This is where we got Julia then try to throw Roxanne to the right side. This is where she goes for a chop. This is where she tries to go for a right hand. This is where we got this is where she tried to dodge it, but this is where she ends up going for a slap, which she totally forgot to block it with her other hand. Both women were down after this. This is where we got Cora Jade and Stephanie McCurd got tagged in by their respective partners. This is where we got the Dark Angel then start making a comeback right onto Perez, but yeah, this is where one thing that we can notice of her, like ever since she made her entrance, is her face paint she wore. It kind of reminds me of another Latina women's wrestler that's over at the other company, which I'm gonna point that out there. Like it looks very similar to the way she had the face paint done, but in her own design with it, like her own custom design. But this is where we got Roxanne Perez trying to close on Stephanie McCurd, but this is where we got Roxanne Perez going to the right side, but this is where Stephanie McCurd counters her. She hits her with this wrist lock into a knee drop right to the neck. This is where we got Cora J trying to close on her, but she hits her face first, right to the upper right corner side turnbuckle. This is where Vic Joseph I told the girls to get out of the Chilean Stars way. This is where then we got what's the name? Stephanie McCurd hits a boot right onto the face of Roxanne Perez on the bottom left side, and then she did a double knees to the face onto Cora Jade, the upper right side. But this is where she ends up getting elbow struck by Roxanne when she went right back to her corner. This is where we got Roxanne. This is where we got Roxanne Perez trying to put her leg, trying to stop her, trying to go for a kick right in the midsection. This is where she hit the dragon screw, bending that arm, bringing that leg back. Looked very similar to that match we had a few months ago, which that's when I actually was very sad for that particular female wrestler taking this maneuver. But for Roxanne Perez's case, she totally deserved that. I'm just gonna say, yeah, like for her being a total jerk and a jackhole, if that's right terms to use. But this is where we got. But this is where she was like, my leg out. And this is where Stephanie McCurd tried to go for a pin. But this is where we got, this is where once she got denied with a kick out 2.8, this is where she shouted like, what? Like if she's an angry witch that like whoever she imprisoned, like in her dungeon, like have escaped out of her castle. Like this is where then we got, because I might give that the comparison because it's Halloween weekend, I guess you could call it. But this is where we got both Roxanne and Cora J trying to run and attack both McCurd and Julia, like the former bitter rivals and now turned friends, I guess you could call them. But this is where we got both women got into some warm strikes and turned into a headbutt right to the face onto the both women of NXT. This is where they duck out of a clothesline at first from both Roxanne and Cora. This is where they end up super kicking them right to the face. This is where we got Roxanne going for a suicide dive onto both women that's trying to challenge her for the NXT Women's Championship. This is where Cora J went right up on the top rope, hits a coffin drop up in the wind right into the face. I wonder if she's taking a shot to Darby Allin, considering with them going with their back and forth tweet with one another, with Darby Allin kind of trying to roast her by saying that this is not just a gimmick. That's really what he's been Yeah, that's what he's really like loving skateboards and doing stunts like this. While Corjay said like went back and said like by the way, it's not a gimmick. Like it's all part of my life. Like and at least I'm not I at least I'm not. I did not separate my partner because of just because of domestic abuse, this like and stuff like that, which I'm not going to talk about right now, probably in a different video. But this is where we got. That's where we got Roxanne throw Stephanie right back in the ring. This is where we got Roxanne trying to go for a crossface, trying to put down Stephanie Vaquer for good, and she might have got the double whammy onto to Stephanie Vaquer, but it was not enough to put her away by submission. This is where we got. But this is where once Stephanie Vaquer got out of it, this is where we got Roxanne Perez was still right back in the offense. This is where we got her starting some forearm strikes right into the face onto to Stephanie Vaquer right afterwards. This is where he tried to Irish try to Irish whip Vaquer right into the bottom left side, but this is where we got Stephanie countered out of it. This is where we got Roxanne turning into herself on WWE 2K24, 2K23 or 24, I should say, with her going for this like her version of a rolling sunset flip like Cody Rhodes would do, but it's her own style in it, with which is a mixture of a pop rocks into it. But that's where we got this is where Stephanie Vaquer tried to flip right out of it. This is where trying to go over the middle rope. But this is where Roxanne Perez go for a Pele kick. This is where we got Roxanne Perez then going for what was the hurricane run? Onto Stephanie Vaquer. This is where she tagged in Cora Jade. This is where she then go right up the top rope, thinking she's gonna get the win for her and her team. This is where they've got Cora Jade going for a swanton. This is where she tried to go for a pin. She probably would have got away with this one if it wasn't for that meddling hot mess, which is none other than Julia. This is where we got Roxanne Perez go for a arm drag and Russian leg sweep. This is where we got what's her name? Julia didn't go for a spinning the driver arrow driver maneuver, but this is where we got Cora Jade then went in and hits his gut wrench suplex. This is where we got Cora Jade like now I got Stephanie only have to worry about this. We're starting to forearms right to her face. But this is where we got Stephanie Vaquer started doing this right back at Cora. But this is where we got what's the name? Cora Jade then go for this is where then we got that's where we got what's her name? Cora Jade going up right up in the Irish whipping Stephanie Vaquer right to the left side. This is where Stephanie Vaquer hits a body drop in reversal. Both women were down. This is where we got Stephanie give a hot tag to Julia while what's her name? Roxanne. Cora Jade came looking. This is where we got Julia then hits a knee strike from her, but this is where it ends up getting like a 2.5 count. But because you got Cora Jade kicking out of that, right? Why I said Roxanne Perez. But this is where we got what's her name? This is where Vaquer didn't. This is where we got Julia didn't try to go for a body slam, but this is where Cora Jade sent it right to the bottom right corner side, hits a Shining Wizard knee strike right to the face in the process. And this is where she tags in Roxanne Perez. This is where that she was getting ready to go up right up in the bottom left side, try to go for a diving maneuver. This is where Julia flipped right out, pushes Roxanne Perez right into the bottom left side, then hits a spinning back suplex. This is where then she tags in this is where we got this is where we got Julia then try to go for a double under suplex, like right on top turnbuckle. This is where I believe she also tagged in Stephanie Vaquer, with Stephanie Vaquer go for a moonsault right onto Perez. Like this is where she tried to go for a pin. Referee counted 1, referee counted 2, and he got the 3. And that's where Vic Joseph like, OMG, like she just pinned the women's champion. Like is that some kind of a sign that we could see like a new champion down in the horizon? And that's exactly how I want to tell you guys. Like Like, dude, like that was completely shocking. Like, yeah, yeah, that was kind of shocking that they pinned Roxanne, Brad, and Cora Jade. Like, maybe yeah, sometimes it's not always what it seems, and it's not what it's always what they see on paper, but it was kind of, but it was exactly what, but exactly it was like exactly how we wanted it to be, with the two baby faces getting a win, and them sending the message to the heel champion that they're coming after her championship, like, and they're gonna prove it by defeating her, like, along with her friend. When they did exactly that with what was it? It was yeah. And yeah, that's like, and that's how, yeah, the matches where we got. But before we can see Stephanie Vaquer and Julia can continue this celebration. This is where we got a little video start playing on the Titantron, and that's where we got somebody walking on the stage, and it was none other than Zarya. Yeah, Zarya, which she made her NXT debut this past Tuesday on the Go Home show, but this time we finally got a full glimpse of her on screen with everybody know who she is, and again,